Welcome back to the program.
Good to be here.
I have a lot of things to talk to you about, but first of all, let's remind people that you once worked here in the same building nearly, didn't you?
Yeah, that spot's not having a lot of luck, is it?
Well, they got a pretty good pizza place in there now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But yours was, it was based on Ed Sullivan, The Life of Ed Sullivan or something? That was the restaurant?
Not a good theme for a restaurant, I don't think, you know. Does Ed Sullivan spell fun and delicious? I don't know.
What was the problem there? Was it the lease was the problem, the customers, the walk-in? What happened there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Just didn't work. But since then, you've gone on to become the chef at wonderful French
Brasserie Les Halles,
yeah. And in your life, you've been a professional chef for like 26 years or so?
Yeah, I spent the first 28 years of my working life standing up in a small closet-like space, one or the other, all over New York.
Right.
I'd seen very little of the world till recently.
And also a very accomplished author, best-selling books, Kitchen Confidential, on and on and on.
Yeah.
And will eat anything. Look at this guy,
Yes.
Paul. Is there an ounce of fat on the man?
There is not. You were right. It's as thin as a rail.
I saw a part of the new show where you're in North Vietnam and you're eating porcupine.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, it's got to be horrible. How can it not be horrible?
Plus, it was like porcupine of indeterminate age.
That's
you know,
right.
the restaurant was closed when we arrived, and we were with somebody from the Interior Ministry who flashed a card. Suddenly they opened, and I'm looking at this thing. It really looked like roadkill. I was relieved, in fact, that it was porcupine. At least it was identifiable meat, you know.
And what did it taste like?
Not like chicken.
Yeah.
Somewhere between, you know, turtle and cat food, you know.
Was it? Now, when I watch you on these shows, you always make it look like you're the luckiest man alive to be eating this wonderful indigenous presentation. But you must run across stuff that's just god awful, right?
I was just in Iceland for the show, and they eat once a year. They have a big sort of a traditional festival called Torablat, where they eat putrefied shark. That is, they let it rot, and then they marinate it in lye or lactic acid for 6 months. And this is
6 months.
This is like it wasn't bad enough already.
It was 6 months.
And I will tell you, it is the single worst thing I have ever eaten in my life. And this is me talking. So I've eaten live reptile parts. So that's saying a lot.
And what about it do the Icelanders enjoy?
I think it's sort of a rite of passage celebrating earlier, harder times. I don't think a lot of them like it. I mean, they handle it with rubber gloves and pick it up with toothpicks. So they don't even touch it. It's really nasty. You know, if you think back on your childhood goldfish that died like 35 years ago, if you were to revisit them now and take a big bite out of them, that would pretty much reproduce the same textural flavor experience,
Right,
I think.
Right. But the truth of it is, the human organism can pretty much eat anything, can't it?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had food poisoning when you're traveling doing these shows?
I violated every known traveler's warning of what you're not supposed to eat under any circumstance. Generally, if I'm a good guest, if locals are eating it or drinking it, I'll do it. I feel very lucky to visit these countries and be treated well. The only time I've been desperately ill was in my ancestral homeland of France. I just broke down, and after too much rich food, just every once in a while you spin the wheel and you lose. And of course, my producers love nothing more than catching me like curled up in a fetal position on a cold tile floor. They think that's video gold.
Now, on the old show and then now on the new show, I notice we see quite a lot of you drinking and smoking.
Yeah, well, that's how I keep my girlish figure.
But you consume a great quantity of the local spirits, it seems like.
You're not making friends in the world if you don't keep up. I mean, like I said, I'm a good guest. You know, you go to Russia and for instance, where it's really tough to keep up. All of the toasts are personal. You know, it's like, this is to our, glorious countries. This is to our homelands. This is to the spirit of international cooperation. This is to our mothers. What are you going to do? Say, well, the hell with your mother,
Yeah. I'm going to sit this one out.
Right.
That doesn't work, does it?
I try to keep up.
Yeah. Now, in the terms of, I think you eat different kinds of food than I would order in a restaurant. If I were to go into, like, your restaurant, what would be the most, for me, unusual dish I might consume? Like, do you have sweetbreads in there?
We have sweetbreads. We have pig's feet.
Now, pig's feet, how are those prepared?
All the bones are taken out. They're essentially stewed till they're tender. All the bones are taken out. Then they're spread with a little mustard, breadcrumbs.
Are they
sauce.
tasty?
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah. And the sweetbreads, that's cow brains?
Thymus glands.
Oh, thymus glands.
They're glandy delicious.
No kidding. I always thought sweetbreads were the brains. What are the brains called?
Brains.
And well, how do you prepare the thymus glands?
Light dusting of flour, saute in a hot pan with butter. They're delicious.
Is that right?
Yeah.
But I mean, almost anything would be delicious prepared that way, wouldn't it?
I think you're gonna find that most chefs love that stuff after work, and for their, it's to their own taste. We get bored with steak and lobster, and it takes a real cook to coax flavor and texture out of a hoof or snout.
Yes, sir. Now, it seems like just a few years ago there was one or two television chefs. There was Julia Child, and then maybe you had Jacques Pepin, and then that seemed like to be pretty much the run of the mill as far as TV chefs go. And now they're just everywhere, for God's sakes.
Yeah, they're popping up everywhere, aren't they?
Are these truly world-class chefs that we see on television now?
Some of them. I mean, I may not like Emerald's show, but the guy's a real chef. I mean, he's worked in the business forever. He paid his dues. Guys like Mario Batali, that's a real chef. Some of these creatures, like the one who has the show where, apparently they show you how to take, a 2-week-old box of Triscuits, some Cheese Whiz, and some Cool Whip, and you can feed your family, and they'll lose weight.
Weight. Wow.
Yeah, is that a chef? Rachel Ray, cute, but is that a chef?
Oh, but she's hot. I am very fond of Rachel Ray. I worry about her because she travels all over eating $40 a day. And your point about spending $40, anybody can spend $40 a day on food if
you stiff every waiter in town.
That's right.
the traveling deadbeat, it's like, tip, lady.
But she's very, very cute. And so anyway, the new show, to give us an idea where you're going. We know you're in Vietnam. We know you're going to Iceland. You know you're going to Russia. What other locations?
Just got back from Uzbekistan. Let's see, Vietnam. I was in Borneo, Las Vegas.
Borneo?
Yeah.
With actual man-eaters, is that correct?
My host, I stayed in a longhouse in the jungle with these heavily tattooed Dayak dudes who, some of the older generations still have tattoos on their fingers. Indicating that they lopped off heads back in the day.
Wow.
And in fact, I ate dinner in the longhouse with the tribe,
What were
and they had a big little bouquet of skulls over the...
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, was that just for show, or that really is
that's,
artifacts of their ancestry,
their
heritage?
They're of recent memory in some cases.
Is that right?
It's food, folks, and fun out there.
Yeah.
It's simple cuisine, but...
Now, how do these guys decide who they'll eat? I mean, who makes that decision?
I don't know. They were couldn't have been nicer to me. I was grateful for that.
Guess what we're having for dinner tonight? Larry. That's just awful. Well, I'm fascinated by the show and also your books and your restaurant. The show is called No Reservations, Monday at 10 on the Travel Channel. Where the hell is the Travel Channel?
Again, I think here it's on like 88, something 88. Like that. But well worth searching around it.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Anthony Bourdain, ladies and gentlemen. Always a pleasure. Thank you for being here, sir.